Hi guys, my name is Angelica Garcia and this is my family's journey. My family is fairly new to the United States. I am a third generation from my mother's side of the family and a second generation from my father's side of the family. My grandmother was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and at the age of 18 met my mother's father, Antonio, and 2 years later had my lovely mother, Magdalena. But things just never worked out between the two, and at the age of 1, she had left me. Later in life, she met this man named Carmelo, who swept her off her feet, literally, bringing both my mom, who at the time was 2, and my grandmother to New York. Living in New York was not easy for my grandmother. Living in a strange, cold place where not only did she not know English, but she now had a growing family. My mom, being the oldest, ended up being my grandmother's #1 helper and translator. And at the age of 16, my mother met my father, Moises, who at the time was one of the few Dominicans living in the neighborhood. And at the age of 21, out came me. Of course, my grandmother was very happy, but deep down, a sadness was growing. As you can see, we tried so many times to assimilate my grandmother, but she just missed her beloved island. She had raised all her lovely children the best she could, but it was time for her to reunite with her island. Having my grandmother far away was so hard, not just for me, but for my mother. Of course we would visit, but lonely Christmases and New Year's soon came and left. And at the time, my mother was no longer with my father. My mother remarried when I was 6, and although she was happy, I know she greatly wished her mother was there to share that happiness. My grandmother would visit from time to time, like when my sister was born, but shortly after, the pain of her leaving was overwhelming. We would write letters and talk on the daily, but it was never the same as having her here. But thankfully, I do have a happy ending. In the end, she finally gave in and moved to New York. Because home is where the family is.